Hi everyone, I'm Sid Solomon and I am on my walk to work, and I'm going to try to cross 8th Avenue without getting hit by a car. So one of the things that folks have asked me to talk about is representation and leadership and the makeup of the National Council, which I suppose makes sense because we're at the front end of an election cycle. So, first of all, let's talk about how all of this works. Equity is a national union. We don't have locals, which means that we are required to be nationally governed. That's why we have a national council. And it's important to know that despite the fact that the seats on our council are largely divvied up based on work category and region, every member of the union gets to vote for every member of the National Council, so please fill out your ballot in its entirety. But also, every member of the council is required to represent every member of the union equally. So, what should we hope that the council looks like? What should we hope about its makeup? Well, generally speaking, I think we should say that we hope the council will be reasonably representative of its members that it represents, reasonably representative of the workers of Actors Equity. That said, I think we also need to be particularly mindful of the fact that we are just at the front end as a union of grappling with the exclusionary natures of our pathways to membership. Membership in our union has always been tied to employability, and employability in this industry has always been tied to hiring bias. Hiring bias we know exists, the statistics are there. Hiring bias that exists towards people because of their race, because of their ethnicity, because of their disability or pregnancy status, because of their gender identity. These things exist. Our union is not inclusive as it should be. Our industry has never been as inclusive as it could be or should be. And so I think it's important not just to be mindful that the council should be representative of the membership as it currently exists, but perhaps representative of the membership as we hope it will be, as again we move slowly but hopefully surely towards becoming a more inclusive union within a more inclusive industry. But also, unions in this country are required to be democratically run. They're supposed to be member-run, worker-run. So you want to have a broad mix of kinds of workers and kinds of people in your room. Now, I myself have a lot of experience in union governance. I spent 5 years on the National Council, 2 years as a vice president, 2 years as a convention delegate, and I'm generally considered to be kind of a wonky expert when it comes to equity process and policy. And I think you need some people like me in the room helping to run your union. But you don't want 83 of me. You want people who are like me when I first ran for council, not knowing a whole ton about governance, but knowing a lot about my own personal work experience and lived experience, and wanting to be a force for progressive change in the union, but also wanting to be a conduit between the members that I know and that I work with and that I care about and the union that's seeking to represent them. To be able to say, hey, this is what I'm hearing from members, I want to bring this in to policy creation, and vice versa, to be able to tell all of my fellow workers, hey, this is what your union is doing for you. So I think in a perfect world, the council will be made up of a mix of people with a lot of institutional experience and knowledge, some people who have been around for a bit and are still in the process of learning and have demonstrated that they are good at what they do and good at listening and good at representing members and also open to the changes that we'd like to see, good, big, progressive change, and also a lot of new folks, people who are newly interested in helping to make our union, again, the inclusive, progressive organization and leader that it can be in our industry. All of that being said, there are a lot of really exciting candidates in this year's race. I have put together a sample ballot, which you can find on my website at sidforaea.com/sample ballot. And I've highlighted a bunch of candidates that I am very excited about and given small little reasons about why I'm excited about them. If you are interested, I encourage you to go check it out. But most importantly, vote. Democratic institutions only really work when people show up and have their voices heard, when the expression of that democracy is really because everybody said, this is what I want. And then what we get is what people really wanted. So, get your ballot, find it in the mail. If you haven't been able to find it, give it a couple more days and then perhaps look towards requesting a replacement. But most importantly, if you're a member, if you can vote, please vote. I'm Sid Solomon. I'll see you on my next walk to work.